Like, sir. Okay, so we are at our Lincolnville Select Board meeting for January 12th, 2026. We've just exited executive session to discuss a potential land use violation, discussing how we protect the best interests of the town and follow the terms of our subdivision ordinance. Does anybody have a motion?
As our goal is to see development recorded in accordance with the ordinances adopted by the community, I move that the town attorney be authorized to make one last consent agreement offer to the Lannings, and if not accepted within 10 days, the town attorney is authorized to file a land use enforcement action.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Moving on to our regular meeting. Fern, would you read the quote of the evening?
Sure. If you want something you have never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Thomas Jefferson.
You. Next up, the Citizens Forum. Seeing there's no one in attendance to come forward, we will move on to the administrator's report.
I just wanted to let you know that the bulk of the debris that was left behind from the bonfire has been cleaned up. Some of the area may have been covered with snow when they got to clean it up, so there may still be a little bit of drill come whenever the snow disappears again, but they certainly made an effort to get back and pick up the bulk of what was there. At the pier, last time I reported that we broke a mooring line. Diver is coming tomorrow to retrieve the line, and then we will get the barge in to reset the whole thing and get it back in working order. We've let town of Hillsborough know what's going on throughout, as well as in the harbor uses, of which there aren't many right now.
We've been able to accommodate the Quicksilver.
Yes.
Transportation, it's just a different area.
Yeah, they've been coming over to what I'll call the north float of the fisherman's float.
Yeah.
Of course, there's not many people using it. Their challenges at a real low draining, low tide, they have access trouble getting in and out to that float as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
they're anxious for it to get fixed, but they understand that it's not fixed. While we're on the subject of harbor and piers, we had our annual pier inspection done a couple of Fridays ago. We await the report on that, and we may end up having to budget some monies for the upcoming fiscal year, but we'll see when we get the report.
And that's a physical look
That's
from on the pier. Do they get under the
They
pier?
went- we went down at not the past Friday, but the Friday prior, so 10 days ago, and it was a -1
Oh, geez.
low draining tide, so you could walk under 3/4 of the pier if you wanted to. So finance director and I and the superintendent of schools met with Bill Brewer and his team last week here in the office. They are, for all intents and purposes, done with the 23 audit, or close to being done with the 23 audit, except for cleaning it up, sending it our way. Preliminarily, the municipal side, we're good. School side has some challenges, and they're gonna finalize it and then report to the school committee, and then the auditors will come make a presentation to you to tell you what they did for 23, and then they're looking at starting 24s and taking a couple months to finish that one.
David, when they come to present to us, because this will be new to us.
Yep.
Will there be conversation about the school as well?
Yep.
Perfect.
The school, in essence, the school is a department of the town that's overseen by the elected school committee, but as you know, you approve the warrants with all the monies. And it's a municipal department. It's a municipal school. And I think that's pretty much it. Seems like I'm forgetting something, but
Do they have an idea of when they're going to report to us? Next meeting?
I don't think it'll be next meeting. It probably will be in February. If get it on the earliest agenda when they hand me a copy and say, yes,
Right.
here it is.
Safe
You'll
to
have-
assume there was no conversation about what do you get on 24?
Yeah, there was, absolutely was. They didn't give a specific date, but he was thinking within 60 days of 23 being done. That they would be done with 20, I mean.
Done?
well, yeah,
24?
or at least to the same point we are now with 23s. I mean, how long can it linger? I mean, we should be working on 25s.
Yeah. This is
But-
great. This is
well-
good. This is better news than we've had in a lot of years. on
Yes.
this Subject.
Well,
So
the issue has been for so long, they didn't have the information. And then it was just at the bottom of their pile. And now it's at the
going
top.
forward, they will.
Yeah.
And the other challenge is not knowing the complete issues school wise. One of the issues, and some of you may remember this, is a number of years ago, we had an issue with the audit in school because of what they call summer salaries, where teachers get paid, their contract starts September 1st, but they've completed their contract by the end of June, so they're entitled to their money. And we always budgeted the money based on when we're gonna pay it out, so and our year starts July 1. So we had a 2-month gap. Which somehow we've addressed over time. That was, trying to think, it was probably 8 or 10 years ago that we did that. They've now changed the accounting standards. So they have to do the same basic summer insurances for health insurance, which the teachers have earned their health insurance, but they don't get paid it. Or the premiums don't get paid till the next fiscal year, but it needs to be accounted in this current fiscal year, and if that makes any sense whatsoever. They get health insurance through to July and August, which to us is in the next fiscal year, but to accountants and the way the accounting standards are written, you have to pay for it in the current year.
Has to be accrued in the current
Yeah.
year.
So, and there are some other issues, so I think one of the things that we're trying to get to is if we have to if the community needs to go to town meeting to get approval for the changes, we'd like to do it once versus, oh, this is what we learned for 23, and then 2 months later have another town meeting and say, oh, this is what we learned for 24. And then 2 months after that, have another meeting, say, oh, for 25, if we can get it all one big picture versus having to try to explain it 3 different times, 3 different ways, because I can't explain it well anyways.
Any other questions for David? Being none, we'll move on to meetings and announcements.
All meetings are here at the town office unless announced otherwise. The planning board is scheduled to meet Wednesday, January 14th, 6 p.m. The town office will be closed on Monday, January 19th, in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The Conservation Commission, Lakes and Ponds Committee, and Recreation Commission are going to have a joint roundtable meeting on Wednesday, January 21st at 5:30. And the select board meets next on Monday, January 26th, 6 p.m.
Excellent. Are there any upcoming community events? Hearing none, we'll move forward to minutes. We have 2 sets to review. For a motion regarding the December 22nd meeting.
I move that the board approve the December 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes as presented.
Second,
In discussion, seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, and a motion for the December 5th. Minutes for our trip to the fire stations.
I move that the board approve the January 5th, 2026 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Excellent, thank you. Next up, we had on here board committee and commission appointments. There were two people potentially for the comprehensive plan committee. Neither of them here this evening. So I would recommend we table this for the evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Till the next meeting.
Moving forward from there, we have select person updates. Mr. Late.
At this point, I don't have anything constructive to say other than we will be working on the budget for Midco Solid Waste. We've got some indicators that may force us to increase our request to the towns. We're not really sure about that yet. Basically, we're not taking in as much trash as we have had in years, and that there's a lot of things that cause that. One of the big things is other haulers coming into town and hauling stuff out of town. We don't make money on stuff like that, and it's hard to keep it economical for the towns, or as low as we have for the towns if things like that happen. And we're also going to discuss a way to curb that from happening. Other than that, it doesn't happen.
Correct.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One, I just wanted to remind everybody of that MCOG questionnaire that was sent out. And I think it might be helpful for individuals to send it individually. And the second thing has to do with the state will be forming up in Augusta, they'll be forming a bipartisan municipal/local government caucus, which will be meeting in the second session. And right now, the plan, to the extent that it has plans, is to invite people from municipalities, select boards, town councils to come up and give their 2 cents. And this is how things work. So just keep in mind that you might be receiving an invitation, and think along those lines if you want to participate.
Cool.
Yeah.
Robin.
First, just to add to Kern's budget thing, for anyone listening, I just want to make sure people know that the town's assessment has not changed in 5 or 6 years at least. It's been the same. And just so people understand that, especially in the climate that we're in with the next thing I want to mention, which is the county budget. I just got an email right before I left home to come here from the county clerk, where they have created a revised budget for us to look at our next meeting, our next budget committee meeting. They've knocked 2.4 million out of it. Out of the 17.4, it's now just a hair under 15. I have no idea what. I haven't, as I say, I haven't had a chance to look at it at all, but I just wanted to pass that along. We were supposed to meet this Friday, which has been canceled, and we're in the process of finding a new date with one of those doodle polls going around. I think largely due to the death of Betty Johnson, our Lincolnville resident that was what, 16 in her 16th year, I think, as county commissioner. And she died on the 7th, relatively unexpectedly. She brief illness. So we are looking at meeting sometime in the next 2 weeks as a budget committee to take up the latest iteration.
Have you heard anything about audits or
No, they have not given us an update.
is, I believe the motive, I can't remember the exact motion, but it was the motion that they
Well-
weren't going to consider more budgets until the audits were
The
complete. or-
motion was saying that, And speaking for myself personally, I voted in support of the motion as much to send give the commissioners some leverage with the auditors to be trying to speed up the backlog that we are suffering under with them. Have not heard anything. I have a feeling we're still looking at kind of parallel tracks where we want to still meet with them to talk about the numbers. I do want to say, I haven't posted, but someone had posted to the Lincolnville discussion group some very inaccurate information about the sheriff's department, saying that there was an error in their payroll by 300 some odd thousand, which, I mean, if that person had actually asked me or anybody else on the budget committee, we could have explained to that person why the column of numbers on the portion of the sheet that he published didn't add up to what appears to be a total. I'm first to admit, it's one of the poorest examples of a table, I think, because it does look like there's a column and it should add to a number, which is why it messed us up too. If you look farther down on that piece of paper, it explains the revenue offsets to those. So anyway.
Thank you. I've got a few items. One, comp plan, we had our most recent meeting. I guess, first of all, that committee is working very well now.
It's good to hear.
Good group of people. They were presented with an option to do, MCOG had been recommending a potential additional survey. It was unanimously voted down by the committee. And it was going to carry with it $7,000 or $8,000 additional budget for the comp plan. They are actually now working on, the process has gone slower than anticipated. Some of that is has been out of MCOG's control. Really been some issues with the committee and stuff as it was moving through. They are looking closely at the budget to see if there's what potential additional money may need to be requested. They're supposed to have that to Susan before the end of this month, and as soon as she has it, she'll forward it to David so we can get it in the budget package. LCS Facilities Committee, the boiler project is 100% complete. The condensate drains that were installed, that was the last things they were waiting for. Those were actually what were leaking. That what the water leak was coming from. And the system, it was part of the old pipings and everything. And so those got replaced as well. Those condensate drains, I guess, can leak air into the system. They can also leak water out of the system. And they were leaking water. So when they closed up the condensate drains, everything ran perfectly, but they have replaced those with new ones. Wiesman was on site last week and formally commissioned it on Thursday. Financing is still a question mark. Waiting on the audits.
Yeah,
they're looking at, they don't have to make a payment of any sort until June. So they have to figure that out for June. They're looking at if the audits come forward, being able to move forward with their original plan. They're not resting on that. They are also researching other financing options with for the school to undertake a 7.5-year financing option, and then they'll try to figure out how that fits into their budget. More to learn there.
Yeah.
The garden that was a lot of people were upset about, and the propane tank field and everything. Money came in through that whole project to basically rebuild the gardens, expand on the building. That money has been allocated and funded to the school. And they've got a plan they're ready to proceed with pending final approval from Frank and DigSafe. So, it actually looks really good over there that way. And the last item I had is please don't forget that we have our town manager evaluation at the next meeting. To have everything by the 23rd. Digitally if possible. Okay. Moving on, we have treasurer and payroll warrants.
I move that the board approve and sign the treasurers and payroll warrants.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Excellent. And now we've got another executive session. Somebody would like to make a motion
I
to.
move the board enter executive session pursuant to Title I MRSA Section 405(6)(f) and Title 36 MRSA Section 8412(e) for the purpose of reviewing a property tax abatement due to poverty and or disability.
Second.